that?
Okay, next slide. So starting from the Joseon period, we had like a very strong focus on Confucianism because that was the official belief at the time. So their idea of masculinity was like the ideal Confucian gentleman, which was highly moral. He was very loyal, and he had a strong like sense of humanity. Like he wanted to help other people, but that's like the ideal. And so the Yangban, or the upper class at the time, they wanted to like imitate their ideal Confucian gentleman by having a lot of self-restraint, and they saw that it was very manly to do that, and they wanted to cultivate their own like their inner selves and like learning, like improving their mind rather than their bodies. And this was very different than the lower classes, which focused more, like they found more respect in having strong physical like activities and like a nicer physique, I guess. Like they would even have competitions with other like villages in like fighting and brawling. So that was very different than the Yangban. Okay, so after the Joseon period, or like starting the end of the Joseon period in the late 1800s, there was kind of a merging of like the Yangban and commoner like ideals. So you had like modernization starting in the late 1800s when Korea started making treaties with other countries and expanding their foreign trade, which also like gave them foreign ideals. So one idea was like Christianity, which focused on improving not only your spirit but also your body and a soul, which they believed in. And then you also have how they wanted to support noble causes like helping your people or like helping the state, which also required a strong body and morality. And so this was enforced, like they encouraged in schools to have field games to like improve your body instead of just sitting down and studying the entire time. And also with Japanese colonization, you had military conscription, which they basically forced the Korean males to join the army, which then they went through rigorous training to like improve their bodies. And this is to also support nationalism and basically to represent like a strong body as well as mind.
Okay, so the shift to feminine image, as masculinity was created on the basis of looking feminine, the fear of being branded as gay. So gay culture was being consumed consciously and unconsciously by means of Broadway, movies, musicals, TV, and even fashion. The fashion industry helped greatly influence the atypical production of the male image. And then you have mass media like shows like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and other shows that include makeovers for men so that they can appeal to the female audience. Men's cosmetics rose to 30% in 2006. This was because men were starting to take better care of themselves. So cosmetic industry saw the opportunity and said, well, let's attract more male customers, saying things like skincare is no longer for women only, and now men need makeup too. Grooming is also an indicator to distinguish between the new male and traditional male image. So the new man or metrosexual must conform his masculinity by having a strong physique while being well-groomed, like people like in the Western sense, David Beckham and Jae Jung from JYJ. Let's see. Okay, new men are characterized by three things. The first is to temper the fear of social stigma attached to the female grooming. Class distinction is adopted to spread the image. Those who are wealthy take care of themselves, and forming to the social mainstream. Some articles define it as constant with human instinct rather than the behavior and means of homosexuality. So taking care of yourself, that's what you're supposed to do. The new man or metrosexual must confirm his masculinity by possessing a strong, flexible, and muscular physique while being a well-groomed man, making men the sexual objects and desires to women.
Okay, so the popular male image, especially in the media now, you guys probably know G-Dragon. So kind of the image of the Klutminam, basically softer looks, and this is kind of a break from the traditional like businessmen, so that's why women tend to prefer softer features because men who are more interested in work and spending time with their colleagues, that's what normally characterizes a businessman, so they kind of want to step away from that. And then they're designated as beautiful, and then so a lot of people want to try to emulate that, and that creates a class distinction. Characteristics of a Klutminam, they're young, they wear innovative fashions, they're very up to date with their fashions, they're colorful, they're not afraid to take risks. And then the Hallyu Wave influence. Korean dramas definitely have a big impact on the male image. The metrosexual portrayal of men in entertainment industry and K-pop groups. Pressure to look like a K-pop star because of flawless faces. Celebrity endorsements for makeup is common, and you'll see a lot of that a little bit later. So males also, because of their looks, they get more jobs, so modeling, endorsements, more drama opportunities. So, okay, so I focus more on like the flower boy dramas. These have been like really big right now. So TVN actually created a series of flower boy dramas, and Flower Boy Ramyeon Shop is a really, really popular one right now. They also created the Shut Up Flower Boy Band, Flower Boy Next Door, and then I think there's a new one coming out as well. But this was all part of the Oh Boy project to create that new flower boy in the media, so they actually had an actual program to try to figure out who was going to be the next flower boy. And then there's more dramas too, like You're Beautiful, where one of the characters is actually named Gominam, which is kind of like Gominam, so. Alright, so here we have Jung Woo, and he's from Flower Boy Ramyeon Shop, and he really got his big break because of that. He's really popular now. He's getting a lot of new endorsements. And here he portrays the flower boy image. You know, you can always see him in the dramas, caring about his appearance, clean cut. He's always like portrayed as being a rich table. And then on the bottom we have Jang Kin-suk, and we've seen a lot of him in other, presentations. So he's really popular. He's been nicknamed Prince of Asia, but because of sometimes the flower boy image comes with negative connotation. So especially from men, they kind of characterize him as being too feminine, especially with his role in You're My Pet. They kind of thought that he was degrading the male image because of that, because he was so feminine, overly feminine. And some people say that the flower boy image is revolting, it's sleazy, and hard to accept because of its womanliness. And then K-pop. So K-pop image is everything in being popular. Yeah, your songs are important too, but you have to kind of be agreeable to the masses. So you need those teenage fans to like you. And here is SHINee, and they're considered to be a fashion icon, having started the SHINee trend. So high top sneakers, skinny jeans, colorful sweaters, and this kind of led to their more endorsements with BB creams and cosmetics, Reeboks of clothing. So their image definitely brought them more opportunities in the media. And this is just one group because there's way too many to kind of focus on.
So since Korean men are so invested into their
2011, they spent around 495.4 million on skincare products. And in Korea, there's only around 19 million men, but they somehow spent that much. And the Korean male cosmetic industry is actually the largest in the world. Around 1 in 10 men wear makeup. So in Korea, it is really common to find male equivalents of female cosmetic products, except they're not marketed as makeup. And since the cosmetic industry for men is so lucrative, SK2, a Japanese cosmetic brand, they launched men's skincare exclusively in Korea. And so you guys are probably wondering, like, what do men do when they groom? So it's like women, they have a full skincare routine. BB cream is like foundation, and that's the most common. But some men will take it further by applying like facial moisturizer, face cream, cleansers. Some even do lipstick or eyeliner, or they make their eyebrows a dark color. The more males are visiting nail and spa salons for full body makeovers, and their reasoning for that is that when they go visit nail salons, they want to have better looking hands, because when you're doing an interview and you give someone a handshake, or you're handing someone your business card, you want to have nice looking hands. Like that was in an interview that I saw. And some males are even going to the extent of plastic surgery, just to really further their looks. And so society's reaction to this is actually a positive one, because appearance is power and first impression is everything. So because the job market is so competitive, like employers are more likely to have a positive impression of someone who is well groomed and looks like they're clean and they actually spend time on themselves. So the media actually highly encourages male grooming, as seen in TV shows. They have shows dedicated for male tutorials, and also male cosmetic ads are also on the rise. And unsurprisingly, women actually prefer groomed men because they look more attractive after the makeup. So they think positively about the trend. For some women, they think that eyeliners or more the makeup beyond BB cream should be reserved only for celebrities or TV personalities. But ultimately, it boils down to when a person looks more attractive, they're bound to have more confidence. So I think this quote sums up this very well. I think for guys who do use makeup, it's not that they want to look more feminine, they just want to look crisper and cleaner, so it helps them overall.
Thank you, everybody.